system security, and IT project management. So I help a lot of people that are looking for work usually, and they don't always know how to use AI or even computers at times. So with AI, I build a lot of tutorials or how-tos that make it really easy for them to follow. And that's what I have kind of focused on. But I also do like resume optimization and things of that nature, us along with having an IT business that I do like networking stuff and security or operations consulting for small businesses as well as just individuals that are trying to fix up their home systems. So that's me.
I'm going to do something too so that we can all have a equal opportunity to share. Is I will put up a timer. So we'll do 2 minutes per intro so we can all stick to it. And I will, we'll pass it off to John.
All right, just a couple of comments. You rattled off the launch kit comprised of a 30-day funnel, a wait list. Then you said something, then sales something, and features and 30-day content. Can you fill in those blanks?
Yes, I can. Would you mind if I get back to that, answering that here in a second?
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So you probably want to know who I am.
Yes.
My name's John Desmond. I reside in the state of Ohio. I've been doing AI for now about 3.5 years. And my use of AI is just all over the place. I'm not really looking for a product. I use it in legal defense. I use it in political rabble rousing. It's not unusual for me to just be looking at something on Facebook and go, oh man, that is like a really unfair criticism. Let me take that whole thing and I capture it, feed it over to my favorite AI is Grok. And I say, Grok, this just doesn't sound fair or doesn't sound true, doesn't ring true. And since Grok is more heavily involved in the here and now, it's looking at all the postings on X. It has a greater presence than any other AI, as far as I know. And then it'll come back with a reasonable response. Sometimes I still don't agree with it, but I'll post it in that content because I may be blinded to whatever the political reality may be. So I spend too much time on that. I'm addicted. It's really bad, but I do enjoy it. So there we go.
Nice. Thank you, John. All right. How about Annette? Can't hear you, Annette. We might need to come back to you. Sometimes she has issues with her mic. Juan, would you mind going while she figures that out?
Sure. Juan Guardiola, and I'm here in New York City. I do have a real estate. I'm a solo real estate broker, and it's my company. And I've been in and out of real estate since my early 20s, and I love it, but I'm not excited by the brokerage part of it. As far as online, I'm also former military like Ariel. I was in the Army, and my job, my MOS in the military was actually the internet. This was way back in 1982. So I've been online since then. And in the mid 90s, I had the opportunity to actually found a company that's more like what the internet looks like now, that I was fortunate enough to sell to a radio network, and it's still around. It's called lamusica.com. We were like an early version of what today you would call a blog. They called it webzines back then. And we were early streamers before Spotify and Pandora came on the scene. We were actually streaming the radio stations of the company that I had sold my company to. So that's all well and good, but the opportunity with AI now is like a quantum leap from even what I did 26, 27 years ago. And so I'm looking to kind of pivot in a major way. And at 63, there's like, my time is not limited in that way, but I want to spend it more effectively, more efficiently, I would say. And with the ultimate lever, which is I see AI as being that ultimate lever to be able to find opportunity. What I'm looking specifically to do with AI, from all the things that from when I met you, Ian, we've known each other a couple of years at least, and from all the things that I've been exposed to, I'm in a number of groups and things of that nature. And again, I have that experience of having owned an internet company and sold it successfully. So I bring all of that stuff. Quickly, I just want to add that what I want to do now is AI for businesses, small businesses in particular, to help them automate and systemize what they're doing. So that's what I'm looking to do. Thank you. Sorry, I went over.
Oh man, it's okay. It's okay. Thank you. Glad that you're here. Annette, did we get it working? Don't hear you. I know last time we were on a call, you got off and then you came back on and it worked. Annette is a tech wizard, so I know she'll get it figured out here in a minute. Okay. You might try to leave and come back. There we go. Okay, there we go. Let's see if it works. She'll be right back, I'm sure. Yes, long time no see, Juan. I moved to Texas since the last time I saw you, so, and John, really. I mean,
yeah, occasionally I see your posts and
Yeah.
the journey. I've gotten busy with my real estate, so I'm online every day, but it's like I got to scan really quick and get off. Otherwise, it's a black hole. Like maybe what John is doing.
Yes.
So yeah, and that doesn't pay the bills. So that's why, I have to be measured at but congratulations, guys. That's great.
Yeah.
Where in Texas are you?
We're in Houston.
Houston, yes.
Yes. It's cool. It's a
place.
lot going on out here. It's been about 2 months, and I've gone around town meeting people in the startup scene, and had the opportunity to speak on stage 2 weeks ago, and that was really cool.
Oh wow.
And yes, I'm excited about what opportunities there are out here. I mean, there's just a lot going on, so a lot more than in Pensacola.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Annette may be struggling there, so we'll go ahead with our next question. And some of you did talk about it a bit, but I am curious about what it is that you're trying to launch. What phase or stage you're at right now, and what you've done, if anything, up until this point to get started. And then I'll come back with a follow-up question after that. But for me, I've been working on LaunchBox for I've been building it since about September of 2025. Got the first users, John and Juan are part of that, of joining my space on there in November. And then January, opened it up for people to start building their own communities in LaunchBox. And so far, that is really my shift into trying to help people start their own spaces, their communities, and helping them to monetize and build their subscriptions on there. And Annette, she's on there, as well as like 14 other people who are starting to build their communities. And I'm doing this event as well as a Saturday call with people. Annette, can we hear you? Oh no. What about your headphone things? Those worked last time. Let's see if they work.
And she's off mute? That's interesting.
Wait, what?
And she's off mute? She's not
Yeah.
mute?
She'll get it. Yes.
Oh, God.
Nice.
I'm going to find a friend and do practice Google Meet so I can find all the settings and know how to whip it around. Sorry, guys.
Oh, no, you're fine. I'll set a timer for you if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Oh, sure. I'm sorry I missed people. Darn. I was
Oh,
getting
that's
very
okay.
My name's Annette, and I live in Florida in the central area around the Space Center, which is really cool. I've been doing AI for about a year. I always ask every year to be shown something new to learn, and well, this is what I got. So what can I tell you? I didn't ask for anything else this January. This is plenty. I'm trying to get a Facebook community to help seniors with AI get over their fear, not be afraid to try it, to understand how it can benefit them, that kind of thing. And I guess that's about it. I actually did a very simple trial, ran my first class try on LaunchBox this a couple of days ago. Got to go back and do the branding, but I was amazed how wonderful that. I'm going to love that course feature. But that's it, really. I have this. I have the community. I do have a website started that's up and operating called AI Magic, and it's a long story why I ended up sort of changing the branding identity, and that sort of delayed me a little. But that's it. I'm loving Launch. The more I can get it working and learn how to use it. Thanks.
Thanks, Annette. Tell us your background of just a bit of working with the IRS.
Oh, I forgot about all that. Well, I am obviously retired and old, and I guess I'm on my third phase. I retired from 32 years with the Internal Revenue Service. I worked in the collection division. Please don't let that scare you. I retired in management, and they were very good to me. I had amazing experiences over the years. I jumped self-taught when the first personal computers came out, so I was way ahead of the game, and it opened a lot of doors. My former background in there, besides that, I've very similar techie stuff that Ariel was describing. And I probably have as many AI projects going as she has other stuff going. And then I worked very heavily for about 10 years in a nonprofit organization where I sort of did what we're doing in terms of teaching and training the folks and doing workshops. So I have a really strong background in that and in using Zoom. That's it. And this is my third phase. We'll see where it goes. I also do quilts and embroidery, and I do expect to have some time for that in the middle of this chaos once I get things working.
Oh
Thanks.
boy, yeah. Thank you. That's cool. That's interesting. Everybody here does have a tech background, so that's an interesting thing I noted. And yeah, we're all like pretty technical as far as what we've done. It's been a lot of different things, but that's really cool.
And
All
you know,
right.
I've learned, Ian, it seems like that's a benefit to us. That's a gift.
Yeah,
Because the people you're going to try to be doing AI stuff, sometimes they don't know how to turn on a computer. So you're going to have to help them bridge that gap a little bit too. So treasure it.
exactly. And yeah, and that's got my brain turning as well as what I don't know. I'm just flowing here. I'm kind of seeing how this goes and where it goes. But the prompt I was going to ask you guys to follow up with, and Annette, you kind of touched on it, and Juan, you kind of touched on it. But if you want to get a little bit more detailed about what it is that you're trying to launch, you know, whatever that looks like for you, how it's looked like, and yeah, just tell us where you're at with that, what you're wanting to do, and we'll go back, kick it to Ariel. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, I mean, I am kind of lucky that I get to test everything that Ian does first before you guys see it, usually. So, aside from that, and kind of brainstorming with him and kind of bouncing ideas off of each other, I have started to come up with an idea of teaching people, like you mentioned, Annette. I've found that a lot of times those people, they just need a little bit of guidance. And so if I can provide something that is easy to follow and that they will use and maybe even share down the line. That's kind of where I've started, because I also have taught my grandma how to use technology, not only like the computer, but her iPhone, and she's 77. So if she can do it, then I know a lot of people can do it. Yeah, and my IT consulting, though, I've tried to learn more of the automation side as well. And Ian's been super helpful with that. I'm like, hey, have you tried this? And I can just get in and maybe look at an AI thing and say, oh, yeah, I can identify all these things. I can plug it in where I need. Yeah, but that's where I'm at.
What about your websites?
Oh, and website development. So I was not familiar with Cursor or Replit or any of that. I was, just using Visual Studio and going in and trying to make websites from scratch. And now with all of these other tools, I found it a lot easier to get small businesses set up with their website, because that is a foundational piece or a crucial piece of, seeing what kind of business they are and representing themselves. So I've kind of worked with also nonprofits, but other veteran businesses that are starting nonprofits. So I have a friend that is building a gym. He doesn't have a location yet, but it's going to be a veteran and youth focused gym in a rural area. So I've been spending a lot of time on that.
Thank you, Ariel. All right, John, what is it that you're working on trying to launch or have launched?
Well, as you know, from time to time, I just think of an idea. Oh, I see. I'm getting a little echo going on. All right. So I'll just see need and see if I can make something like a work order program for our local people, an exercise program, which actually, Ariel, when you started talking about this veteran doing his thing, I went through our local YMCA, got a tour of this machine and that machine, what it does, how do you use it, and so on and so forth. And I sat down in about 45 minutes. I was really amazed that I came back with a reasonable tracking program on a daily basis for not only your body, but also your body, soul, and spirit, and a bunch of other like weird things. But I gave Lovable a lot of freedom to look at other programs and try to steal the best from the rest. All that being said, I just dabble with that kind of thing. But in terms of using it actively, we're under some political attacks. My son's 36-unit apartment building, Juan, I'm in real estate, have been for a long time, and he has a 36-unit apartment building. I've got a number of rentals in a place called Dark County. I'm under attack there. So essentially, one of the things I'm doing, not successfully very well so far, is to create various funnels for the purposes of attack mode. In other words, if the city goes forward on its planned shutdown, we're going to put 36 people of low income people on the streets. And so I'm collecting their testimonials. I'm essentially using AI to create a strategy, business plan, and so forth. In addition to that, from a maybe a long-term revenue, do you wish me to continue, or I can't hear you? You need to unmute.
If you can wrap it up a little bit, and then we'll come back later.
So funnels for real estate investors. I belong to the Greater Dayton Real Estate Investors Association. I used to be on the board of the National Real Estate Investors Association. And we have a number of other local associations. And and then the other thing I'm trying to do is I'm messing with a really complicated network with about 30 to 70 IP cameras on there, plus you name it in terms of devices. I mean, it's complicated, switches and routers and managed stuff. Literally, pretty wild at the moment.
That does sound wild. Thank you, John. That's
Mhm.
amazing. All right, Juan, we'll kick it back to you now.
So the opportunity that I want to work on is a one-man empire and basically an agentic workforce that works for me. And I license it out, if you will, to others and also build it within companies. So a lot of people know about the silver tsunami, which is people like closer to my age and Annette's and John's that have been in the workforce for 30, 40, 50 years. And there's been a lot of transformation, technological transformation during that time. But some of those businesses are still stuck there. And there's families that can't, their children doesn't want to take over the family business. And so there's things of value out there that are worthwhile saving or repurposing for, the times. And so, there's a sweet spot that's called the silver tsunami of all these people that are looking to retire, leave a legacy, no one to buy the business from them or take it over or something of that nature. So there's enough opportunity out there to help those businesses streamline, automate, systemize, and either sell or run them yourself, but more efficiently. So that's a sweet spot that I keep without even asking and intentionally looking for, keeps kind of coming into my kind of consciousness. And so that's what I'd like to do, and where I don't have to rely on employees and babysitting other people and things of that nature, which is what bothers me about the brokerage model. If I can always scale the real estate brokerage, but I don't want to if I have to just add more people to it, because then that's it becomes a management issue. So that's basically it. AI workforce where I can build my own teams. I'm behind on building things like Lovable and Claude Code and Co-work and things like that. And that raises a hand. Yeah, I'm behind on all of that, which I should know better because I've been in it since about the time as you there when I met you, Ian. So and so that's what I need to do is balance my time more on building, not this other stuff.
That's awesome. Thank you, Juan.
Thank you.
All right, Annette, let's hear what you're working on a little bit more. Oh, you're muted.
Well, Juan just described my dream. I really, during some of the development processes that have made me look at myself more and what my skills are than what my faults are, I've realized I got ideas. I got things I want to make happen, but I hate the tediousness of filling out little boxes on Facebook and doing an image 20 times to get it to be just like I want it to. I want somebody I can say, here's my vision, go do the technical work and make it happen for me. But I don't think that's coming my way anytime soon, unless Juan shows me a great way to do it once he's got it happening. But my primary thing right now is I have a Facebook page, Simple AI for Seniors. And I had someone help me with some of the graphics, and I've got them. I'm fixing to start a wait list for people to start signing up. And I want to write a little, here's what you can expect. And I'll post it on my personal page, that page, and my AI Magic page. I want to get a waiting list started while I'm finishing branding out PowerSuite and developing the courses. And I'd like to get that going, get the courses ready, at least the first basic courses, and people at least coming and looking at it. And I do have 2 affiliates that I'm trying to really take time to polish up and get a rhythm to putting them out there. So that's plenty to keep me busy.
Thank you, Annette. All right, I will follow up with another prompt I'll share on it here. Anywhere that you're feeling stuck or you have questions that you maybe could ask this broader audience here, or yeah, some challenges in your launch. For me, with LaunchBox, some of the challenges are that I am currently a one-man show, and LaunchBox is starting to really take on a life of its own, where people are joining. Like I mentioned, I'm going out here in Houston and meeting people, and there's a lot of opportunities and people who are saying, hey, you know, maybe you could partner with me on this, or you could do that, and there's a lot of awesome opportunities. However, one, I'm cautious about that stuff. One, because of just the time commitment that I'm already dedicating to everything I'm doing here, and knowing that I can't do all of those opportunities as a solo founder. So I am just doing the best that I can. I like showing up, continuing to put the work in LaunchBox, and knowing that the right situations, the next right moves, like the next right growth move, will tend to happen naturally. That's how it's happened so far. But yeah, it's just the overwhelm of like, there's a lot of good stuff and a lot of good opportunities, and I don't know which one to take, because yeah, I don't know which is the most important next right step. And so I'm just kind of pausing instead of jumping onto the next thing. So that's me, and we'll just loop back around. Challenges with your launch. Ariel.
I think time is my challenge right now, because yeah, and being one person, like time, one person show, prioritizing things and not really knowing what, right? Because talking to people is well and great, but I also want to continue building on what I already have. So I go back and forth between those two.
Okay. All right. You forgot. All right, John.
Oh, I was just going to make a joke. Can I use up Ariel's time? That's
Well,
a joke.
we'll
Just
do
kidding.
2 minutes.
No, I was kidding. What is my greatest challenge right now? Is that the question?
Around your launch.
Around my launch. Well, I don't necessarily have any singular target right now, because I'm divided across multiple issues. So right now I'm using Go High Level, which I'm honestly not impressed with. We were using better tools 30 years ago, to be honest with you. They were fast, responsive, and I was a maniac on those tools. I was fast. Anyway, all that being said, I'm dealing with that tool for the purposes of mass mailings and things of that nature. But I need to probably get more clear, depending on which of the target audiences that I'm dealing with. I got the politicians that I need to deal with in a defensive mode, press in order to bring them to task, and then other investor groups and other people. And let me just bring it back to what I'm used to. If it was a perfect world, I would still be using a product called Lotus Notes. That thing was fantastic. I was what you would call a Lotus Notes evangelist. I could do everything with Lotus Notes. In fact, I was doing multi-object movement along a System 75, which is a really big 300 telephone switch, taking inbound calls, putting them into objects as a wrapper, routing them to the right people with translations and the voice recording, all the kind of cool stuff you can do today. I was doing that 30 years ago, really. And I'm so disappointed that it seems like we're reinventing stuff that really was good to begin with. So
Thank you, John. All right, Juan.
I can't help but feel that I'm almost answering your question before you ask it, because I already touched on what I'm working on and kind of why. I do want to mention, for example, I live in I was my mom's caretaker until she passed on at 92, and it was an honor, by the way. Total mama's boy here. So, but I live in her old apartment, and downstairs on the ground floor, there's a senior center. So when I hear Annette talking about that project that she has, I'm very interested in hearing more, because maybe I can help her with her project by accessing those seniors. I don't know this for a fact, but it can certainly start a conversation, right? And I hear Ariel also wanting to help seniors. This is something that drives me as a person. We lost John. I guess he didn't like that comment, but so helping people that can use the help and deserve the help is very very endearing to me. So that could be something that it's on my roadmap, but it hasn't been the priority, because I want to make sure that I have what I need is financial security, since there's no one else that can basically support me, right? If I'm not careful with my time. So I mentioned a moment ago that basically my biggest kind of hurdle right now is actually doing the building. So I need to, I'm involved in some courses, but then I don't dedicate the time to actually, including LaunchBox, right, to actually be on the calls and do the building. So that's something I have to address seriously and intentionally, so that I build stuff. I'm finding all sorts of problems. I call myself the friction finder. I could just walk out of my apartment here and I'll find tons of business problems and people problems that technology can solve. What I haven't done is taking the time to finish learning even the fundamentals of how to start building technology solutions for them. There we go, John. John, you missed the best part, man. We were talking about $1 million giveaway that Ian proposed. You missed it, though.
that's all right. I'll settle for the $500,000 one.
Okay. So that was it, Ian. Thanks. Oh, Ian, I wanted to point out, so, something that I'm sure hasn't gone unnoticed by you and Ariel. Between Annette, John, and I, we probably have, I'm sure we have over 100 years combined experience and wisdom, okay, of being on the planet, of seeing all these different waves, and of seeing all these different technologies. And why I wanted to point that out to you is based on what your comment was, that you don't know where to start, right? Which is a common for all of us. We're all having a challenge like that. But in your case, you have the platform. It's like you have the peanut butter to my chocolate, like Reese's peanut butter cup, right? That's why Ariel also, and the combination of you two guys is wonderful, because you're already doing the tech and whatever, and she could find the problems for your solutions, right? Because tech people, in my experience, for over 50 years being online, is people that are very smart in tech build things that people don't need on a frequent basis, and then wonder why nobody, it's because they haven't made that connection. But the reason, again, while I'm pointing this out, is so that you can give that some thought on your own time as to how you could tap into our combined wisdom and experience of just being born. And like you said, we've all touched technology, so we're not adverse to technology. There's, if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we all have the same needs as far as that's concerned, right? No matter what the person's race, religion, creed, or whatever, or age. So that's a good place to start, right? To start filtering, and then tap into the wisdom of your members, of people that have just been around, and start, there. always with an eye towards money, because again, as much as we're programmed and conditioned sometimes to feel like, oh, I don't want the money, you know, it's bullshit. I mean, money does make the world go round, just like oil does. We're finding it. Right? So, and you're in Houston, so
yeah.
So yeah, make that match maybe for you guys, so that you could tap into a resource you already have in us and others, and start with that, you know, and give it to help you kind of like, you know, sift through it.
Yes. Thank you for that. All right, Annette, where are you at?
Well, I think one little piece John just touched was the stuff to do takes me 3 times as long because I've got to stop and learn how to do it first.
Yeah.
And that has delayed things. In terms of not being a one-man show, my vision is a virtual assistant that even if it's temporary until I get this stuff in going, that maybe could do some of the tech side for me kind of thing. And I don't quite know how to approach that. I finally gave up with my website, and I did hire a website guy. I had it 80% done with help from chat, but I just needed to move on. And so he finished that website for me. And I have had someone who agreed to be an assistant more or less, but they created some of the graphics I will be using on my seniors Facebook page. But that's the one thing I think I didn't really mean, I don't think turn the whole thing over, but I have been frustrated. The 2 friends who drug me into this, neither one of them's doing anything. And when I get stuck there, if it's not related to some little niche, I don't have anybody to get help from, and it's frustrating. I invested a lot of money, and you know, it's worse to have bad coaches than not to have a coach at all. And I've yet to have had a single conversation. I have 2 apps. I would absolutely love to talk to somebody that could tell me if I'm headed in the right direction or even where to start to create them. I know what I figured out on my own, but I don't know if it's the best way. Time's up. Thank you.
Okay. Let me think here. Yeah, there was a lot of great comments there. Thank you all for sharing. And John, I saw that you raised your hand. And I do want to give maybe 5 minutes. We can all have an open discussion here on anything that we heard, because like Juan, you pointed out, like this is a great community to tap into. And I think today, where I'm switching things up into being more of a communal format where we can just discuss as peers of what we're doing. Yeah, maybe this could turn into that sort of forum for us to do that. So I'm going to put 5 minutes up on there. And John, we can start with your hand raised, but do be mindful of the time that we're sharing here collectively.
Sure. I had to switch to a different PC. I think I mentioned that to you earlier, Ian, that I've got a couple of PCs here, and they
Shoot. Do you have a follow-up, baby?
So my follow-up is just like Juan mentioned, Ian and I do talk about all of the skills that everybody in the community brings and trying to fill in the gaps, right? Of, okay, you have a skill that I need and I have a skill that you need. So let's collaborate somehow.
You can hear me.
Oh, there's John. You're back, John.
Yeah, barely. So as I was explaining to Ariel, I also have a mystery disease relative to connectivity issues. And so I was on my Wi-Fi just now. It dipped out. Fortunately, I've got a hard wire that I just hooked up. I was thinking that it might be my other problem. Okay, going back to addressing something that Annette had to say about being able to get advice on a very small issue that you may be facing. And here is the solution that took a long time for me to embrace. So I had a young fellow that used to work for me when I was working in the Department of Transportation. And he was still in high school, but really, really smart kid. He'd work for me for a few hours every night. And because of my history, I knew an awful lot about the nuts and bolts of PCs. And then he knew a lot about Unix and some of the more advanced kind of topics. So between us both, we had a pretty good handle on what was going on in the wonderful world of computers. And so I would ask him, hey, Matt, tell me about such and such a thing. He'd say, look it up. What do you mean, look it up? Well, you got Google, look it up. And so, and I, hey, Matt, you know about such and such. He said, yes, I do. Look it up on Google. And he, as his boss, that kind of pissed me off a little bit. But nevertheless, I ultimately developed a habit of looking stuff up on Google. Well, the same thing is true now with AI. You take a screenshot of whatever your problem is, you pop it into one of your preferred AIs, whatever you're really comfortable with, and say, I'm stuck. Tell me what I need to do. And now the message here isn't some big revelation. The message here is consistency and building it as a habit. So I do it all day long, constantly. So, I mean, that's just the way I roll. And my ex-employee, Matt, really helped build that in me. And it, in all honesty, it's taken me at least a year to a year and a half to do that as a strong habit now. So when I'm in the car, I talk to AI. When I'm at my screen, I do that. In the process of purchasing a Tesla, and that'll have Grok built into it. So it's going to be like a lot of fun coming up here shortly.
Heck yeah. All right, we got about minute 15. Anybody else want to hop in? Thank you, John.
Sure.
John, you got something?
Oh, no, I just said, sure.
Sorry, Juan, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's the same name. Yeah. But also to John's point, and with Annette, right? This is what I have. I have a little mini tripod here and my phone sitting on there. So to expand on what John was saying, I literally turn on the live video component on ChatGPT and show it my screen because I need my hands to type over here, right? So, so I have this kind of looking at my laptop screen while I'm talking live onto the ChatGPT on my phone and asking it, look at my screen, what am I doing wrong? Or what am I, whatever the question may be, right? And so I'm having a conversation with it. And then I have it's a future point, like some of the other kind of genius ideas that we may have that sometimes escape us. I invested in Applaud, which goes on the other phone, and I listen to I record some of my ideas, some conversations, things like that. You gotta ask people for permission and stuff like that. But it's because sometimes we let out stuff that's brilliant and great solutions, but we don't have a way to capture it all the time, or run and get a pen and paper and stuff. So this is the new pen and paper, and this is the new GTS. We used to call it Google that shit, right? GTS. This is the new GTS. Is just turning on one of like John says, one of your favorite AIs and talking to it. Grok, I happen to agree. Grok is known to be the one with the least amount of guardrails, because Musk supposedly believes in free speech and all of that stuff. So when I don't get a good answer,
what happened?
GPT, I go to Grok and ask the same question, and I'll get a better, like an unrestricted answer usually.
Heck yeah. Yes, I'll chime in and say I do the same thing with AI. I'm constantly running some sort of conversation, and I think that's where I can get tripped up too, is I'll have so many ideas, and AI enables me to have so many ideas that I start chasing monkeys, and I'm like, well, these are all awesome ideas. Which one do I go with? And so that's, I agree. I love AI being my advisor, but sometimes I'm like, well, tell me which one to do. So that's my 2 cents on that. And Annette, if you have any short comment, and then we will start to wrap it up here.
I'm still laughing at chasing monkey. I appreciate all those great suggestions. ChatGPT is my friend. I live with ChatGPT and even had a conversation about would he okay if I gave him a name? And we talked about that. But I couldn't have done what I've done without chat. And I do sometimes I wish I could turn the ideas off because I've been working with someone, niche. I can't niche because I got all this out here I want to do. But I know it'll all work out. It just isn't working out as fast as I want it to. And I have a very close friend who has always said, Annette, you hate learning curves. That's your problem. But thanks for all the suggestions. And I'm looking, I think Ian's intention with some of the call stuff was for all of us to begin to connect with each other and create a community. And that's what I want my Facebook page to do too. Go ahead, Ian. I'm done. Thank you.
Yes. I'm actually really liking this format that we did today. Thank you guys for being open to sharing. And my last prompt for us to wrap things up will be like, what is one or two sentences on what you would like to work on between this week and next week for yourself to get you closer to your next goal, your next launch, clearing up that challenge, whatever. And I'll say for me, I've got, like I mentioned, a lot of different paths to go down, but I have a few that are standing out stronger than others. And I have a campaign that I'll be running this month for LaunchBox. And so I know for me, my primary objective and things that are going to help LaunchBox the most is getting new people in and then helping those people launch. So I'm doing those calls and yeah, just sticking true to that. We got an echo here somewhere, but maybe we can find it.
John working on his computer, maybe.
There's two Johns now. All right. I don't know if Ariel can answer, but if not, we'll move on to Juan. What's a goal you'd like to do this week?
Well, I was having fun with Manus, and in one of your classes, I think we did Replit or Lovable, I forget which I hear, they all of them are getting better every day, right? So I understand that. What's ticking me off is I even tried one called Emergent, and so that's what I think is what I'm drawn to, because like Annette, I have very little patience for like this learning curve. I just want it now because I have clarity of the idea, and it's the execution where I come up short, right? And this is why I'm drawn to the idea of having my customized AI workforce that just knows me to a level that I just tell it what my idea is, and it executes the way I would, right? But it fills in the gaps that I either don't have the knowledge in or don't have the patience to let me go watch these 50 videos and learn how to do this. I don't have that patience. So I think that what I got kind of like annoyed at was they stopped working up to a point and asking for more money for the tokens. So I'm enjoying the work with some of those, but I need to find a better solution. And I think that may be, Claude, which I have a lot of hopes for. And I also started doing what they call the second brain with Obsidian, so that I can dump all my knowledge and even Annette's knowledge, John's and Ian's and Ariel's in it too, and now have a super brain, right? But as the conductor of the orchestra, then I have all of the orchestra, as that knowledge that's in the Obsidian vault. So that's what I'm working on, and I've started it. I just haven't finished it.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay. We'll leave the timer up for 1 minute. If you have a goal, John, you missed that. Would you give us your goal between this week and next week that you'd like to hit for your launch?
Well, I need to write some very pivotal letters that are going to address the political attacks that are occurring. So that would be perhaps, and as well as preparing for some of this, what may turn out to be litigation. So I'm kind of a litigation fool, which is not a good thing. So I'm going to try my best. That would be the goal, is to come up with a concise, clear game plan and follow through.
Heck yeah. Thank you, John. Annette.
Yes, I can do it. Ian, thank you for your comments about not needing all those programs anymore. I'm going to look at the same thing because I probably don't now. One, I wanted to say, I think for you and I, the thing that keeps us going till 2 o'clock in the morning is the victory of success. And we aren't having success when we get stuck in the learning curve. So we're hungering for that, you know, the thrill of victory. And my goal by this meeting next week will be to have my waitlist page ready to launch. Great meeting. Thank you, Ian.
Yes, thank you, Annette. Okay, thank you all again for showing up. And I'm excited by what we just did here. I think that was kind of special, actually. And I wanted to do it again next week. So if you want to come next week, tell us if you made your goal. If you didn't, that's okay too. But we can use this as a good little forum and community to go over what we're doing. Because I think for me, it feels like I'm in a silo, I'm in a vacuum, and there's a lot of awesome knowledge and resource here that I can tap into. And just to have a bit of that accountability and to just speak it out loud of like what's going on with my launch. And it's kind of cool because you guys are, I mean, a part of that. You're all involved with LaunchBox. And so, yeah, sharing with you guys my journey of like the insider, you know, it's not always pretty what's going on in a startup. What I am doing later this month, I'm going to be doing 2 different workshops, which are going to be all about, they're going to be free, all about going through something that I've built in that LaunchBox, which generates the 30 days worth of content for you, along with your waitlist. So Annette, you can build your waitlist in LaunchBox. It'll create 2 lead magnets for you. It'll create your sales page and everything that you need in order to get that 30-day campaign out. I'm going to bring in a speaker as well that I've met out here who I'm really excited to announce shortly. And I'm working on including a free hub for giving people more of a inclusive like community, kind of like what we're doing here. So you don't necessarily need to subscribe to LaunchBox to be a part of what we're all trying to do here. And let me drop that in here. I just have a Google form just so I can keep track, and I just threw it together on this call. So if you guys take that, sign up, and I mean, you're all on my email, you will know about it. And yeah, thank you so much. This was really cool.
Great meeting and have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Hmm.